Hey there everyone, welcome back to the Deep Fog. For the 5 people who don't know, Five Nights at Freddy's 2 just recently dropped. Me and a couple of my friends were able to go see the movie on the day it came out, and I certainly had a lot of thoughts about it. Today I'm here to share with you all the real burning question I'm sure a lot of people have is it really worth all the hype? To go ahead and jump right in, we saw the movie at night, so that morning I decided to record a little video of my pre-thoughts, so I'm going to pass it off to old me. Today is Five Nights at Freddy Fazbear's Pizza Five Nights at Freddy's Day. So later tonight I will be seeing it, but I want to give you all my quick before thoughts, and then I'll give you my after thoughts after I see the movie. First movie is kind of a weird one for me because I have my personal opinion on it and then like my more objective opinion on it, if that makes sense. Personally, I thought it was a really fun movie. As a fan who grew up with Five Nights at Freddy's, it was an enjoyable experience, and I overall think the writing wasn't like, it wasn't the best. I mean, let's just be honest here. It wasn't like the best, most objectively perfect movie ever. But I personally enjoyed it. I think it did a decent job adapting the story of the first game. And I think they found a good way to sprinkle in just enough fan service while also at least trying to tell a story, especially with Mike. His character actually had like a character arc and something he was pursuing, and there was actually kind of a story going on there. I enjoyed that a lot. The animatronics are very much the standout of the first movie, and I think overall the first movie just probably could have been a lot better than what it was. This second movie, I don't know how I'm feeling about it. I'm a little nervous because I feel like it's going to be really hard to follow up that first movie, considering the first movie kind of had some faults, but I think the first movie's faults were kind of pushed to the side because it was a decent adaptation of the first game. The animatronics were good. There was a lot more liberties I could be given with the first movie, considering it was the first time we'd seen a FNAF adaptation. It was the first time a lot of this stuff had been seen on the big screen like this, and I think because it was the first time it was done, we were able to really kind of put a lot of the flaws to the side and really congratulate Scott Cawthon and the team for getting this film made, considering the nightmare that was the production of this movie. I don't think I'm gonna give the second one as much credit as the first movie gets. If this second one is not as good as the first one, I am going to have a lot more to say about it than I did with the first one's flaws, because now we have the story established, we have a direction to go. And my concern really is, where are they going to go? Obviously, they can still follow the lore of the games, but already, once you start getting past the first game, the lore starts to get really, really messy, and I just don't know really where they're going to take it. They've also really, really hyped up this second movie. I mean, they are hyping this thing up. Blumhouse knows it's their biggest property right now. They have a lot going for it, and they really want people excited, so I guess we'll see if it lives up to the hype.
8 hours later.
Emily, are you excited for Five Nights at Freddy's?
I'm so excited for Five Nights at Freddy's.
Max, are you excited for Five Nights at Freddy's? Are you excited for Five Nights at Freddy's? Get my old berry dogs and to set myself free. I try to stop it. It won't be long before I become a puppet. Alright, just a quick heads up. I was really tired when I filmed this part, so I apologize. And this will be spoiler free. Alright, so just got out of Five Nights at Freddy's 2. Yes, the mangle ears were necessary. So honestly, not nearly what I thought it was going to be. If I must be honest, I really did kind of think this one was going to be a lot worse than the first one. But really, it's about on par with the first one. I think that this movie, I think it had an idea of what it wanted to be, and I do think in a lot of ways it does really hit the mark on that, because it's very similar to the first movie. If you like the first movie, you're gonna like this movie. If you didn't like the first movie, you're not gonna like this movie. It's pretty much that simple. The thing is, Scott Cawthon clearly writes for people who like Five Nights at Freddy's. If you don't know the lore, if you don't know the stories of these games, there's not a lot for you here, if I must be honest. Truly, I can understand why a lot of these critics give it such bad reviews, because when you really look at it from an objective standpoint, which I know it can be hard when you know a lot about a franchise, but when you truly look at it from an objective standpoint, a lot of the stuff the characters are doing doesn't make any sense. Like, how does this character know this? Why are they doing this? Why are they doing that? It doesn't make sense to someone who does not know anything about the games. And sadly, that just alienates a very large portion of the audience. But also, it's a big pro for the fans. And that's clearly who these movies are made for. Clearly, Scott knows who the fans are. He knows what the fans want. And he really did pretty good at making something that I think all the fans would like. Now, I will say I didn't love everything about it, even coming from a fan. I do think some of the choices were kind of weird. I think we went some directions that probably weren't entirely necessary. I think it was also kind of hard where the first film doesn't entirely follow the lore the same way, so they had to kind of mix things up. You can really tell they don't like to stay in the pizzeria, which again, it's a movie. It's kind of inevitable that they can't stay in the pizzeria, but they really don't like to stay in it for longer than necessary, which is fine. But it does suck because I really think the sets and the animatronics are the best parts of these movies. This movie did have a lot more animatronics, I'll say that. I think this movie knew people were here to see the animatronics and they really played into it. But sadly, on set-wise, I wish we got more of the pizzeria. I wish we got more of a lot of these cool like sets and scenes and stuff. There are even a couple of the animatronics who I do wish got some more screen time. But you know, again, it's a movie. Can't win everything. I think overall, for a fan going into this, I had fun. My main thing is I'm just curious to see how these next films are going to be, because we'll just have to see. I mean, 3 is going to be a really interesting one to adapt, especially considering these films clearly are trying to target both an adult and a child audience at the same time, and sometimes it feels very conflicting because you get a lot of scenes that are clearly kind of trying to appeal to both sides, and they really can't, because Five Nights at Freddy's is not really a kid's story, but they try and they make some interesting choices. But hey, Scott, I mean, you gave it an honest try. Let's just hope it's enough to get a third movie, and we'll have to see how that one's done.
So, yep, that's about all I got for Five Nights at Freddy's 2. Was it worth the hype? Sort of. I think it really just depends on how big of a Five Nights at Freddy's fan you are. Me not being, like, super huge on it, I mean, I had fun, but I wouldn't say it's, like, my movie of the year. In fact, even looking back, I think I'd maybe even say the first movie might be a little better. But, all in all, I say go see it for yourself if you're interested. Decide how you feel. But yeah, thank you all so much for tuning in. See you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.